So now we are starting from question number 21, and this is part 2 of specimen paper. Okay, so let us start from question number 21 up to the last. Chlorine, bromine and iodine are elements in group 7 of the periodic table. Which statement about these elements is correct? So the color gets lighter down the group. No, the color gets darker down the group because fluorine is a pale yellow gas, and chlorine is yellowish green, and then bromine brown water, and then iodine grayish black. So color gets darkened down the group. So the density decreases down the group. Now, in fact, density increases down the group because fluorine is a gas and iodine is solid. Right. So they are all gases at room temperature and pressure. Now, fluorine and chlorine are only gases at room temperature and pressure, whereas bromine is liquid and iodine is grayish black solid. So the only answer is left, and that is D. They are all non-metals because group 7 is the entire group of non-metals. Moving on to the next question, which row describes the properties of a typical transition elements, right? So typical transition metals, they have high melting points, not low melting and boiling points, right? So variable oxidation state, yes, they have variable oxidation. This is one of the properties of transition metals. They have high melting point and they have variable oxidation number. Obviously, they are also used as catalysts. So the answer is B. Question number 23, which statement about the noble gases is correct? Noble gases are diatomic molecules. Noble gases are in fact monoatomic molecules, and noble gases are reactive gases. Noble gases are unreactive gases because of complete outer shells. Okay, so noble gases have full outer electron shells. So this is the correct answer. That is why they are unreactive and they cannot make diatomic molecules. The noble gases are found on the left hand side of the periodic table. They are extreme right side of the periodic table. So answer is C. What is a property of all metals? They conduct electricity. Yes, all metals, they conduct electricity, right? They are hard. Not all metals are hard. Low melting point. All metals, they have usually high melting point, except group 1 or group 2. So reacts with water. All metals, they do not react with water. So this is the property of all metals, that they conduct electricity. Which statement explains why aluminum is used in the manufacture of aircraft? So it conducts heat well. Yes, if it does conduct heat well, but this is not the related property that we are going to make manufacture of aircraft, right? So it has a low density. Yes, this is the property. That is why we use, or we choose, aluminum for making the body of aircraft, right? So it is a good insulator. We don't need whether it insulates or not. It is easy to recycle. These are not the properties related to the manufacture of aircraft. Okay, the section of the reactivity series shown includes a newly discovered metal symbol X, right? So you can say that the position of X in the reactivity series, the only oxide of X has the formula XO. So it means that oxygen has 2 minus, so X must have 2 plus. Okay, the charge of 2 plus. So which equation shows a reaction which occurs? Copper is reacting with. So here you can say that copper is replacing X from its compound, which is not possible because copper is below in the reactivity series, right? Now here X can displace copper. X can displace because X is more reactive than copper. But if you look at the charge here, the charge is +1, which is wrong because charge on X is 2 plus, and here in the equation it is showing 1 plus because there are 2 atoms of X. They are replacing 1 copper, so it can never happen, right? So here X is replacing iron, or X is reducing iron from iron oxide. So can X reduce iron? No, X is below iron in the reactivity series, so X cannot reduce iron oxide, right? So X can displace hydrogen from an acid. Yes, X can, because X is above in the reactivity series, and obviously X is forming XCl2, and it clearly shows the correct oxidation number or correct valency number of X. So this is the correct answer, right? So moving on to the next question, which metal compound produces a gas that turns lime water milky when it is heated with a Bunsen burner? So when it is heated Bunsen burner, so the compound will be decomposed, right? So when a carbonate is decomposed, carbon dioxide gas is produced. Nitrate can never produce carbon dioxide. Sodium sulfate upon a decomposition cannot produce carbon dioxide, neither zinc nitrate will produce. Okay, so the only answer is copper carbonate. Which statement about the extraction of iron is in a blast furnace is correct? Right, so calcium oxide reacts with basic impurities. Does it look correct or not? So calcium oxide reacts with basic impurities, and calcium oxide itself is a basic oxide, and it reacts with acidic impurity, silicon dioxide. So this word makes this statement incorrect. Carbon is burnt to provide heat. Carbon is burnt in excess or hot air to form carbon dioxide, which is highly exothermic reaction, and it provide heat. So it is the correct answer. Iron oxide is reduced to iron by carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide cannot reduce because it is not a reducing agent. It has already a ratio of oxygen with carbon sufficient, cannot be oxidized further. The raw materials are bauxite, limestone, and coke. Limestone and coke are correct, but bauxite, the raw material, is hematite. Right, so this is also incorrect option. So our correct option is B. An experiment to investigate the effect of painting iron is shown. Right, so here you have painted iron, and here you have pure iron. The experiment is left for 7 days. What happens to the water level in test tube X and Y? So as in pure iron, it will rust. The pure iron, it will rust. It is not painted, or it is not protected from rusting. So pure iron will be, so the level of water will rise in X, right, and it will not have any change. There will be no change in Y. So test tube X, it rises. So our answer will either be from C or D, and there is no change in Y. So the answer is D. Bauxite contains aluminum oxide. Aluminum is extracted from aluminum oxide by electrolysis, right? So which statement is a reason for why cryolite is added to the electrolytic cell used to extract aluminum? So cryolite decreases the rate at which aluminum ions are discharged? No. Cryolite lowers the melting point of the electrolyte mixture? Yes. This is exactly why we add cryolite in aluminum oxide, so as the melting point of electrolytic mixture can be decreased. Cryolite prevents the carbon anodes being burned away? No. Cryolite removes impurities from bauxite? No. Cryolite is only added to reduce the melting point of electrolytic mixture. Which statement is correct? Atmospheric carbon dioxide is not a cause of climate change. Atmospheric carbon dioxide is in fact a cause of climate change. Atmospheric methane is produced by respiration. Atmospheric carbon dioxide is produced by the respiration, right? Burning natural gas decreasing the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Burning natural gas increases the level of carbon dioxide, because when you burn a natural gas, carbon dioxide gas is produced, which escape into the atmosphere, increasing the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, right? So decomposition of vegetation causes an increase in atmospheric methane. Yes, this is the correct statement, because decomposition of vegetation produces methane, which escapes in atmosphere to increase the level of methane in the atmosphere, right? So 32, a plastic combusts to form sulfur dioxide and hydrogen chloride, right? How could both gases be removed from the atmosphere? Pass the gases over solid anhydrous cobalt chloride. So I don't think so, that because cobalt chloride, anhydrous cobalt chloride, it just is the test for water. Pass the gases over solid damp calcium oxide. So calcium oxide is a basic oxide, and basic oxide, whereas these two are acidic in nature, acidic oxide, and this is also an acidic gas. So acidic gas will react with basic oxide, and this is how we can remove these gases from the air, right? Pass the gases through a catalytic converter. They don't have any effect in a catalytic converter, right? So this is obviously a wrong option. Pass the gases through filter paper. There is nothing to do with filter paper for gases. Right, so B is our correct answer. Which equation represents photosynthesis? It's very simple. Carbon dioxide and water, they react with. So this is the correct option, where 6 moles of carbon dioxide reacts with 6 moles of water to produce 1 mole of glucose and 6 moles of oxygen. So these are the 3 options are incorrect. First of all, these are respirations, 1, first and 2, and C is not a correctly balanced equation. 34. Which statement defines the structural isomers? They are compounds with the same displayed formula but a different molecular formula, or they are compound with the same molecular and displayed formula but a different structural formula. So they are compound with the same molecular formula but different structural formula. So this is the exactly definition of structural isomer. Their structures are different and their molecular formula are the same. Okay, so when the structural formula are different, the displayed formula will also be different. Okay, and this is the first statement is wrong, because the same displayed formula, they don't have same displayed formula, because they have different structural formula. So displayed formula is based on structural formula. Okay, so they are compound with the same structural formula but different displayed formula. When a structural formula, as I told you earlier, is different, displayed formula will also be different. Petroleum is a mixture of different hydrocarbons. We know that. Which process is used to separate the petroleum into groups of similar hydrocarbons? So petroleum, you know that it is the a mixture of miscible liquids, so we separate using fractional distillation based on their boiling points. Next question, which equation representing a reaction of methane is correct? Right. So you can say that methane, when we chlorinate or when we substitute hydrogen from methane, okay, so chloromethane is formed and hydrogen chloride. So this seems to be correct. Methane and chlorine, it can never happen because one chlorine substitutes one hydrogen, right? So forming a chloromethane in the first step, and then the second chlorine atom of the diatomic chlorine molecule reacts with outcoming hydrogen to form hydrogen chloride. So again, in the light of this explanation I expressed, this must be incorrect, and again this is also incorrect. Methane, only substitution reaction takes place when chlorine is added to methane in the light of or in the presence of ultraviolet rays, because substitution needs ultraviolet rays to take place. Number 38, part of the structure of a polymer is shown. You can see this, there are 2 units of a monomer. Okay, so polymer there is containing 2 units, CH3 CH ClCf, CH3 CH ClCf, right? So which monomer is used to make this polymer? So it's very simple, that you will make a double bond between them and it will remain the same arrangement: methyl, chloride, hydrogen and fluorine. That's because hydrogen and fluorine are there, so this is wrong because of the wrong order. Methyl, chloride, H and F, this is the correct, and when you diminish these extended bonds and you change these extended bond into double bond between the carbon atoms, so it is correct. Okay, so you can say that arrangement is not as shown in the polymer, so it is also wrong, and again arrangement is not as per shown in the polymer. 5 steps in an acid-base titration are shown. Slowly add the acid from a burette into a conical flask until the indicator becomes colorless. Add thymophylline, which is an indicator. Use a volumetric pipette to add a fixed volume of alkali to a conical flask. Read and record the initial volume of acid in the burette. Read and record the final volume of the acid in the burette. Okay, so the first thing is that the step 3, because you use a volumetric pipette to add a fixed volume of alkali to a conical flask. This is the first step, so your answer will be either B or C. Right. So what is the second step? You add thymophylline. After taking the fixed volume of alkali in a conical flask, you add an indicator to the substance taken in the conical flask. So after 3 it should be 2, so your answer is B, because 2 is coming after 3, right? So no need to go ahead, we got our answer. And it does not start from 2, it does not start from 4. A student does paper chromatography on a mixture of amino acids. The student sprays the dried chromatogram with a locating agent. What is the function of the locating agent? Obviously, we use locating agent like ninhydrin spray or something to make invisible pigments visible, right? So to dissolve the amino acids, no, as I told you, the use of locating agents. So we will be looking for the correct option: to form colored spots with the amino acids, to preserve the amino acid, no, to stop the amino acid reacting. So this is what we explain: to form colored spots with the amino acids. If amino acids are not colored, so it makes these spots colored. Okay, so this is how we have finished our paper. So please write comments. How did you find this video useful for your exams or for your understanding? I will be waiting for your comments, and share this video with your friends. Okay, so till the next video, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.